Q&A Part 2, and Maximus is not pleased how the Q&A is going. But I digress. On with the Q&A. As for who should develop in Red vs. Blue more, there's always the odd one here and there. But if I had to pick, the core group of characters, really, I'd say the Reds. I made this semi-clear, kind of shady, but I think the Reds should have been killed off years ago. And this is kind of why, specifically, I don't like seasons 7, 9, and 11. Especially in those, since season 6, it's always been like, there's something a bit bigger at work here. There's something that we all just don't really know about, and it's something that's kind of been the driving force of everything. Whenever we go back to a season where it's just the Reds and Blues, or in a boxed canyon or something, and they're just fighting one another, it's kind of like, well, look, you're kind of undermining that whole, like, there's something a bit bigger here. There's a bigger picture at play. And it's always the Blues. The Blues are the ones who always know what's going on. That's why Griff makes that joke in some episodes saying, blue team problems. Because the Blues are the ones who are always trying to figure things out. They're the ones that really the story is deriving from. The Reds, no, they just exist simply to be an obstacle for the Blues. That's all I've really seen the Reds as. And yeah, look, it was cool when it was like, in the first 5 seasons. What was that? And, for the namesake of the title. But I think it's become to a point where, seeing them at odds with one another doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work. That's why I'm pissed every time they do that, to go back to that. If you like that, that's fine. It's just like, look, that's what the show was, but that's not what it is now. So that's why, and what I mean specifically by development in that, the Reds really just, when Griff says blue team problems, I kind of sit there realizing, yeah, the Reds really haven't done anything that has great significance. Like, when is a season ever focused on the Reds and you're not sitting there going, oh, come on, bring on the Blues? Season 7 made me say that so many times. Tucker was gone, Church was dead, all that's left was Caboose, and really Caboose isn't the most interesting of Blues in the world, but, he still has connection to the blue team problems. More specifically, Sarge. Griff and Simmons have their moments, and Donut and Lopez too, but Sarge in particular, just his mentality towards everything, how he thinks this is all real. Like, I absolutely love that episode in season 6, when Washington just, undermines everything. It's just like, Sarge is just like, you're making that up. It's like, really? When have you guys ever done anything that wasn't a result of command yelling at you or a freelancer was involved? And just the look on Sarge, it's just the mask. But you can just imagine the look on Sarge's face when Washington is just saying to him, you're not real. You're not a soldier. You're nothing. You're just a simulation. And Sarge really hasn't learned anything at that point. He still figures, oh, this is all real. We gotta defeat the Blues and whatnot. So, and that is why, I might have been all over the place, but the Reds in particular, and Sarge more specifically, are the ones that need more development. We get slight development with, Griff and Simmons, particularly in season 12, when Griff starts having Sarge-isms, I guess, to say the least. And, Simmons is always, Griff makes the point saying, Simmons isn't as kiss-ass. Small stuff like that is why Griff and Simmons, that shows that they're developing. Donut, I think Donut should just, when they killed off Donut, I kind of hoped he was staying dead. Apart from just like, oh, is he gay, is he not? That joke really just isn't funny anymore. Lopez still gets a few laughs, and, Season 12 had his absolute greatest moment when he got his head shot off and proceeded to punch out one of the guards. I thought that was great. But Sarge is the one that really, really, really needs some development. But that's all I have to say on the matter. So, thanks for the question.
Ooh, this one's controversial. I like it. There's not too many, actually. There's just the odd ones here and there. I guess Man of Steel wasn't very well received, and I like that film. But I think Man of Steel suffers from just some of the most lazy film criticism I've ever seen. The original Transformers movie, the one from the 80s, that wasn't particularly well received. But that one has a large, cult following, and yeah, and I guess you kind of have to compare it to the Michael Bay films, but when you compare it to the Michael Bay films, yeah, that film's a fucking masterpiece. The only real major one is Ninja Turtles 2014. I kind of like it. Yeah, it's not a good film by any means, but I've watched it a couple more times, and oddly enough, there's this something that I do genuinely like about it. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, it's okay, it's right. The story's ripped right out of The Amazing Spider-Man. Visually, it looks like a bit of a mess, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell is going on half the time? But there are admittedly things I do like about that film. Particularly the turtles themselves, actually. I thought they were, for the most part, kind of fleshed out characters. But I think the biggest one on the list, and I don't know how this is going to make people see me, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I like the first Twilight movie. There, I said it. I hope you're happy. Yeah, I remember seeing that 2008, not knowing, what was I, 13 at the time or something, and my friend described it to me as a vampire romance. I'm like, oh, cool. Then he showed me a picture of the chick. I'm like, oh, she's kind of cute. And I remember thinking, well, this is kind of boring, but semi-interesting in a way. I just, knowing what came after, yeah, that's where I sit there going, yeah, okay. But admittedly, I do like the first Twilight film. I don't know what it is, but it's the only one of them I will gladly sit down and watch. Okay, maybe not gladly, but it's the only one that if I had to, between that and I don't know. And I guess The Phantom Menace in a way. I mean, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith are just garbage. More specifically, Hayden Christensen. He ruins those two films for me. Phantom Menace, to an extent, I will watch. Although I think Chris Stuckman, he kind of ruined my favorite scene, the pod racing scene. He makes the point saying all the shots of the pods are from the right side, and every pan is from left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. Watch Chris Stuckman's review on that. It's pretty good. But yeah, those are, I guess, the major ones. There's not really too many. I usually agree with critics for the most part. But yeah, hope that answers your question. Alright, time for, this is going to be interesting. My most embarrassing moment is also my most controversial moment. What is it? Okay, this started as a joke. I used to be a competitive swimmer until I just got sick of it because I love swimming, but swimmers are just the most despicable humans on earth. But this all started when I was having a joke with my coach. And it was just we were talking about things that we're not allowed to say in public. And I think one of them was someone mentioned feminism or something. And I'm just well, you can't exactly yell out, I'm a masculinist or something. Otherwise you'll be shot on sight. And it's because if you say I have female power or I have female pride, it's good for you. If you say you have male pride, you will be shot on sight. There's no arguing with that. The same thing for other things. If I say I have white pride, you will be incarcerated and incinerated on sight. But if you say I have black pride or something, it's yeah, good for you, man. Sweet. And the most controversial of them all, if you say you have Christian pride, actually, I don't know. But I used to work at a place called the JCC, Jewish Community Center. You didn't have to be Jewish to work there. And I tell you, every poster I saw there said, Jewish pride, be one of us, join us. It was ooh, huh. But, in the actual place and, advertisements I'd see on, the subway and the subway and just in various locations. So, a friend of mine thought, this was after I stopped working there, a friend of mine and I just a little while ago thought, hey, why don't we go to the middle of Dundas Square? That's just outside film school, for those who know Toronto locations. And it's basically a big open square. Just, people go there. It's just like they do occasional events there. So we thought, let's scream out the three things we're not allowed to yell out. White male Christian pride. We did that, and then immediately we yelled it out as loud as possible, the two of us. And then immediately after, a cop showed up to us, and then this, like, 50-year-old something woman runs up to us, and the cop's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, we're just being stupid. Like, we'll leave. The woman says, how dare you say those things? So that right there is the most embarrassing moment of my life. But it's also, I guess, one of my accomplishments in life. Just, I finally did something. I finally just yelled at something so stupid that it's just... I hope that answers your question, Bandit. Hope we... Yeah, words, can't speak. And I look forward to when we work again next. All right, see you guys later.